Thank you, and thanks, Stu. That was, I mean, I wrote some of that, but the parts that I didn't write were really good. One of you may have heard about the recent revelation that ABC News in Buckingham Palace had 3 years before his latest and last arrest, quashed an in-depth expose about Jeffrey Epstein's horrific crimes. And producers at ABC said, nobody knows who this guy is. This is a stupid story. So they really missed out on that. Probably, nothing to do with the fact that it would have implicated a past president and present prince. Past president and present prince. You could have done something. I could. Among other dignified individuals. But no, they just weren't savvy enough to know a hot story when they saw it. And so what if broadcasters in, say, November '63 had a similar lapse in prioritizing reports? Then they'd be saying, "Oh, people get shot all the time. Nobody's going to care about that. Just make it make that item a tag, and keep it brief." In other news, President Kennedy was shot dead today while on his way to a business luncheon in Dallas, Texas. And now here's Andrew with sports. In other news, humans landed on the moon for the first time in history earlier today. The spectacle was marred when American astronaut Neil Armstrong flubbed his lines in front of 125 million television viewers. As he stepped tentatively onto the lunar soil, the distracted NASA employee said it was one small step for man, rather than one small step for a man as intended. Befuddled viewers must have wondered at the paradox when Armstrong, in the same breath, referred to the occasion as one giant leap for mankind. Better dust off that resume when you get back to Earth, Neil. And now here's Daria with this evening's lottery numbers. In other news, a 47-story steel office tower in New York collapsed at freefall into its own footprint late this afternoon, baffling architects and structural engineers worldwide. Office fires were said to be the cause of the collapse, making it the first such occurrence in history. There were no injuries as the building had already been evacuated. Earlier in the day, 2 other skyscrapers collapsed after being struck by planes. Several thousand people are believed to have perished in that horrific double tragedy. And now over to Ken for a special report on securing your tulip bulbs against pesky squirrels this autumn. Ken? In other news, the wreckage of a flying saucer has been found near Roswell, New Mexico, along with the bodies of several extraterrestrial crew members. One of the diminutive visitors is said to be alive, but rather shaken up by the incident. I think I might be a bit shaken up too if I found myself stranded in rural New Mexico with no means of... Wait a moment, I'm getting an update. According to U.S. Air Force officials, it was just a weather balloon. Well, isn't that a humorous twist? Any witnesses who might claim they saw something other than a weather balloon are being advised to kindly keep quiet or risk death to themselves and their families. And speaking of weather, here's Kathy with the facts on what we can expect to see falling from the sky. Take it away, Kathy. In other news, to the delight of his followers, Jesus Christ returned to earth today in a blaze of glory. When pressed for a comment, the beloved prophet of the Christian faith said he was glad to be back, but had a lot of work ahead of him. Those who doubted the Savior's second coming will be hearing a lot of "I told you so's" for the next week or 2. And now here's Sapphira with the latest on traffic. In In other news, the Toronto Maple Leafs won their 14th Stanley Cup this evening after a drought of nearly 2 centuries when they defeated the San Juan Chupacabras 4-3 in overtime at the Walmart Penitentiary Arena. Sadly for die-hard fans, their celebration will be short-lived as an asteroid struck the Earth just moments later, an event expected to terminate most forms of life on the planet by next Tuesday, Friday at the latest. And now here's Zorgulok Xena 32 with a scoop on this virtual summer's fashion trends. Thank you.